Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Inglorious Banters. We had a lot of trouble naming this episode. On the paper it's called Yet to be Titled, but we were tossing around a few different ideas. One of them was
Bantery
Bantery at the gates to go with our film style. But it was also recommended that we call it the Hannoswag episode, and we'll get to that a little bit later on as to why. It's great to be back. We've talked to a few people about the podcast over the weekend.
Yeah.
And it's been really nice just to hear some feedback from different people or people that were excited about it. Because it's a little bit of a labour of love for us. It's great to hear feedback from the community.
It is, yeah. It's nice to have people say, "Hey, I like what you were talking about. You know, like it was good to hear your voices again." I'm like, "Oh, really?" Like it's
Yeah. Like, is it?
Is
okay,
it?
then.
It is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been really quite good. We've had some positive feedback from people, which is always good. We even had we'll say a big thank you to Brad at Cast Ice for giving us a shout out on his latest podcast that he did. It's pretty good to be mentioned with the guys like the Tabletop Tommies. I actually have been listening to one of their episodes today.
Some good stuff.
Driving to and from some very good stuff. So Brad, if you're listening, thanks. It's very good. We've had a bit of a jump in our numbers as well, which is nice.
Yeah, thanks to everybody who is a new listener.
Yeah, definitely. If you've only just sort of started tuning in on this episode, do take a listen back to our lovely voices on the previous 2 episodes. And hopefully we can talk about a few different things that you might enjoy listening to today.
Yeah. So there's an overall theme to this episode because we've been building up for it, and we've just come back from it. Really, it's only been 4 days or so.
Yep. Been a long 4 days of work after the long weekend, but yeah.
But the MOAB convention in Sutherland. Sylvania.
Yep.
In Sydney has just been and gone, and great times were had as always.
Mm-hmm.
We were at the Bolt Action tournament up there, but we're going to talk about some of the other things that we saw, the stuff that caught our eye. It's interesting every time you go to a convention like that, how many people you run into.
Yeah.
That just other hobbyists and things, as well as like regular stall holders that you want to talk to. And there were a lot of just old faces that I haven't seen for quite a while that were just popping up around the place.
Yeah, a few people that I hadn't seen in a while, even playing in the tournament. So like a few of the guys there, Sam Drayton. So we've known him for years now, and I hadn't actually seen him in person for a good, it must be a good couple of months now. I think since the last time we went to a tournament, he was walking past me, just said hi as we were going between stalls. And sometimes that's all you get with people. It might just be a quick hello, but it's still always good to go through and say hi and possibly have a catch up and talk about some of the stuff you're working on.
Yeah, absolutely. Just catching up with other people's hobby and finding out what's cool and what's going on in their worlds. So we might go through just overall. MOAB was great. I was very pleasantly surprised with the temperature this year.
It was much nicer than usual.
Last year it was stinking hot, and the Star Wars Legion tournament that I was at was on top of the canteen.
Like
so
a mezzanine level, tin roof right above it. And I think last year it was like a 30 plus something day. Yeah. It was hot, and it was very, very hot.
Star Wars Legion is quite a card and token heavy game, and the organisers even brought out like extra fans, like pedestal fans, to cool everyone.
That's right, yeah.
But fans and cards and tokens don't mix particularly well.
No.
So marinating amongst the various scents of other hobbyists and boiling Kranskis from downstairs at the canteen last year was tough.
Yeah.
On like the physical stuff. All the enjoyment was there, but this time it was just a milder weekend.
Yeah.
And
we're on the stage area, which was actually pretty well ventilated, which is good. Although if you did take a step towards the doorways on either side there, you did get a bit of the cross breeze coming through from the Star Wars Legion room. They were at the little room in the back, so they didn't have as large a number of people. So that cross breeze was all right, but to be honest, you didn't really feel it if you're standing near the front of the stage. And yeah, we had the 40k tournament was down on the tables below ours.
Yeah.
Down on the main floor area right next to the stage. And then they had a whole bunch of different participation games. down there. Blood and Plunder looked really good.
Yeah.
I have to admit their tables were really quite nice.
Every single time we walked past to go somewhere else, Mitch is like, that Blood and Plunder table does look really good. Like,
yeah,
got 17 games to paint, Mitch.
I know, and I'm not going to lie, I do follow their stuff on Facebook and that for all the for all the new releases and bits and pieces they're talking about.
Too many good options. That's the problem.
Options, yeah.
We're going to talk about some of the different store holders that we met at MOAB this year.
Yeah, there was a heap of great different retailers there. We met up with a few guys that we know that we've known for years actually, and obviously had a quick look through for the different like other major places. So we had War and Peace Games was there, and
I didn't see War and Peace.
Was it War and Peace? Or was it Combat Company? No, it was
Combat Company was there. War Library was there.
War Library, that's the other one. Sorry, yes,
because I was looking out for War and Peace for some hot steamy bolt action.
Yes, yeah.
But War and Peace is always there in spirit because they're massive supporters of the tournament scene.
Yeah, they are
there as well. So there were prizes provided by War and Peace. So thank you, War and Peace.
Yep.
But lots of cool bolt action stuff, which actually will segue into one of the other store holders there, Slave to Gaming, because they had a new range of, I think it was Australian Commonwealth troops.
Yeah, I think it was the Bardia 28 millimeter.
Right.
Australian, or you could use it as British, I guess, for like sort of early desert campaign sort of stuff. So they had a lot of, they have like I think the machine gun team was like the old Vickers style, like round,
cool.
like water jacket kind of style stuff. But they do a lot of different stuff. They do a game that they support pretty heavily and work with a bunch of developers for the rule system called Machine and Krieger. Which or Mac 15 mil, which is looks very, very nice. I had a quick look at their stuff there on the day, but also again through their website during the week. Like, I could possibly start this as well.
This would be cool, right? I turned up to the store because we know Drew, who runs Slave to Gaming, and then like an old workmate of ours from back in the GW days, Dave, was there as well. And so it was just great catching up. And then I turned to my left, and there was an old customer of ours and previous Golden Demon winner, Neil, was there. Yeah. And I was like, the Machine and Krieger stuff looks pretty good, right? And he just held up a bag and went, yes, it does. So there's a lot of really cool stuff there. Like, if you haven't checked out Slave to Gaming, give it a look. Australian company, really cool sculpts that fit a lot of like gaps in the hobby that you didn't know there were. And they're really cool. They're just out there. Like he's got the entire Civil War, American Civil War armies with teddy bears.
Yeah, the teddy bear stuff.
He's got entire teams of Elvis impersonators for all of your...
Yes, those are pretty cool, yeah.
I want to find... I was actually considering getting some for Fallout and making them the New Vegas Kings or whatever they were.
That would be so cool.
That'd be rad, just do up like a gang.
7 TV would be very cool to use something like that.
100% accurate.
But he also has like a 15mm Grim Fantasy range, which is really nice.
Yes, so which we will come back to when we talk about something later as well.
That's very true. But yeah, he has, I don't know if they're still on his website, but he does have 15, I think they were actually, I didn't check properly, but 54mm scale sort of larger Australian soldiers from World War One. He also had some stuff that was, I think, some Viet Cong stuff as well. So in 54mm. So if you wanted to play, as display pieces, I think he also does like a Ned Kelly and a few other bits and pieces.
Yeah, there's just tons of good stuff.
He does lots of, and he does a Australian Sentinel, everybody's favourite bulbous machine gun tank. He does one of those, so you can get that through him, along with all the Machine and Krieger stuff and a whole bunch of other stuff besides.
So good. There's I had it in my head for a second there. What I went over to the store for this time was to pick up, it was like 15mm scale, I think, but it was like gravestones and campfires and bonfires. And they actually work, even at that size, they work really well for War Master, which we play at 6mm, no, 10mm.
10mm, yep.
And that work out quite well for some other 10mm projects as well. So just like little objectives, go Dark Souls style and have like bonfires as your objectives.
Yeah.
All that kind of good stuff. So it was great to go to Slave to Gaming, just have a chat to him about different stuff that's going on from his side of the hobby community as well, from like a producer. Who else did we talk to? Once again, like it's so cool to see Andrew doing that. And then on the far side of the hall, we had Steve
from Ex Manus,
who used to come into the Wollongong store and do his own sculpting in there, and now he's selling all of his own models like that he's making. And then once again, great, quirky, characterful by the bucket load.
They really are. He does like a whole bunch of different sci-fi, fantasy, some Victorian era stuff. So I picked up a few minis off him. A samurai model that would fit quite well for our war bands for Test of Honor.
Yeah,
because I can always use more samurai, right? The other one I picked up from him was a highborn noble lady, which actually has got looks quite good as far as the look for, like, sort of Napoleonic era. So I'm going to chuck her in for a silver bayonet.
Yeah,
probably
perfect.
A supernatural investigator or occultist or something for my French, which would be for my French warband. And also got an elemental master, which does not look at anything at all like Korra from Korra the Last Airbender, or from the Avatar series. I showed it to my eldest, and he's a big Avatar fan.
That's
and
right.
I went, who does that look like? And he immediately went, yeah, that's Korra. And I'm
Yep.
like, yep.
Excellent.
So I'm going to paint her up. Might use her as my monk for our next D&D campaign.
Yeah,
possibly.
that'd be rad.
So, 'cause no one plays as a monk in our group.
No, it's a surprise. Keep the DM on their toes and confuse them with all those new key rules.
Knocking arrows out of the air and stuff like that. Flurry of blows to punch dudes heaps. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, very cool. So his stuff is really quite awesome. He's got his website as well. Worth checking him out if you're looking for anything that might be a little bit different as far as miniatures. I think he also does some Elvis impersonator. He does an Elvis model or two, I think, from memory.
I'm not sure. There's so many cool, quirky ones at his stall. I have to check him out online and see what his options are there as well.
Yeah, I did have another troll through his website as I was like, I should really have a look at what else he's got, because I picked a couple of things up. I'm like, I need more.
That's great.
So yeah, definitely check him out. So Ex Manus.
That was good. What else do we see? Oh, so right beside Steve was another not vendor, but like a demo area, which I'm familiar with, but have never seen in the flesh, which is Fjord Serpents, or Fjord
Serpents.
Right? So Fjord Serpents is a 10mm scale Viking ship-to-ship combat game that's all about like boarding actions and grappling the other ship. So you can sort of do actions depending on how many stands of fighters are left on board your ship. So you might send them to fight, or might send them to like destroy the grappling lines that are holding you together, because your ship wants to break free and use bowfire to scour the enemy ship's crew.
Because why not?
So we talked to Luke, who was over there, and he was just an absolute legend. He was so busy running demo games. I just got a chance to talk to him really quick, and he was like, here you go, have a sample pack of some Berserkers. So I've got a little stand of Berserkers.
Nice.
And the way he's designed them works pretty good, because they're basically half the size of a War Master stand.
Yeah.
So if you put two of them together, you can put them on a War Master stand, and you've got a Norse army of Vikings, because he's got about 4 or 5 of the archetypes for Norse warbands flow over into this as well. So talking to one of our other hobby mates, Andrew, he was very big onto it, because we can basically, you could get a starter set for that and have the basics for a Norse army for War Master straight away.
Yeah.
Particularly, as you pointed out, if I go across the hall to Andrew and buy some of those 15mm werewolves, then I can put them in for the Wolfen units in a Norse army as well. And that just sounds like a great plan for good hobby times. So Andrew and I talked about it later on and went on because the Indiegogo is still running. So if you're interested in Fjord Serpents, go check them out. They've got a Facebook group. They've got their website. If you go onto Indiegogo before it comes down, which will not be very much longer, by the way, you can still put in pledges to try and get stuff early. So see if it's still running. It might actually be down by the time this airs.
Hopefully we'll get this out soon enough so people can can get in on it. But if not, have a look at it anyway, because he'll still have all of his stuff being sold. When going through after fulfillment, he'll still go through and be having all that. And it'd be interesting to see what else he brings out for it. Over the time as well.
Well, I didn't get this from Luke at Fjord Serpents himself, but one of the other guys who was really big in it said that he had been thinking about a land-based game at that scale as well, so you could use the stands like War Master, but maybe smaller scale. Who knows?
Well, still small scale skirmishes using 10 mil Vikings. Who's not going to want to play that?
It's rad.
It just sounds awesome.
So I've been very distracted by by thinking about ways to build like little island fjords and like put some like raidable farms and like longhouses and stuff on them.
Given how good you are at doing your hobby stuff, mate, I don't think you have any problem with making something for it.
It's usually planning for efficiency, because I go, I can build anything, but how will I find a way to keep it all? So it's like, what can be multi-purpose enough that I can keep both is the big problem.
You know what? You could get, the space that you play on, I'm not sure what the size of the board is. It's probably, only 2 foot or 3 foot? By 3 foot?
It looked like about 3 foot or 4 foot, but you can go larger. There's like 3 different scales of engagement, which is like Hessier, Jarl, and King sized engagements, and that sort of dictates the amount of ships that you've got and the amount of points you've got to spend on elite crew instead of
just your
regulars,
like berserkers and huskars and all
Johnny
that
Village hand that's just picked up an axe and gone, I guess I'm a rower today.
Yeah. So look, I mean, you can always do like just a cloth mat out for it, and then chuck your islands down so it keeps the space down. You can fit it all into one box for it. But I
got the table for Drowned Earth has that nice sort of turquoisey murky green. But just making some.
You have access to foam and hands, so you can go through and do whatever you need as far as...
I could make a table out of hands. Perfect for nightmare missions. So Fjord Serpent look really good. Andrew and I have gone into that, so we'll get some cool stuff. Like, there's extra ships and stuff aside from the starter set, and I grabbed a trading ship because it's wider than all the other ones, which means maneuvering will be slightly different. Because there's like rocky causeways that you can navigate through but might take damage, and then there's just big F-off rocks where it's like you hit that, you take damage. And you can, like, if you grapple another ship, then, and some of your guys are still rowing on their side, you can force other ships away and like force enemy ships onto the rocks while you're fighting and stuff. Like, you could, it's
intentionally
cool, man.
Shipwreck people. That's very cool. That does kind of fit with the whole theme of it as well.
So if you've got like a broader ship that's got less fighting crew but more cargo, the cargo might be worth victory points or something, or it might have other benefits like upgrades that they've stored aboard. And you could do convoy ambushing missions of like the long ships coming out to take the trade ship.
That'd be very cool.
Right. I really want to put some of the archers on an island and have like a little manned outpost, like just a watchtower on an island. So every time you're nearby, the archers are like, get out of here, you. Yeah.
Shake their fist from the shoreline, throw a couple of bow shots, hit some shields, like not much, but still.
That's it. Yeah. As long as they're making an effort and Sven gets to shoot someone.
Exactly.
We're good.
Yeah. But look, it looked really good. I did have a squiz at it when we walked over and had a look at it. But for me, like it's something very cool. There's a lot of games at a smaller scale at the moment, which people are like are bringing a lot of different stuff out for. One thing. I think 28 mil scale games is the sweet spot for me as far as painting. Sure. Because I find it really hard to paint my War Master.
It's a whole other challenge, right?
It's so different. I paint mine pretty much entirely using contrast because it's just easier for me to use that as basically inking the area as opposed to painting it. Some of the stuff that I've seen on the Warmaster pages, can't remember the dude's name, but his High Elf army looks fantastic, and he must have supervision or a giant magnifying glass, or he's painting very small little pixies to paint his his miniatures. I have no idea how he paints them so well at such a small scale, but they look phenomenal. Yeah. So,
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and made them paint my army.
I put my kids to work doing that. Yeah. But I think like 10 mil, like these sort of small scale games, definitely have their place, and it's something that I'm looking forward to seeing it on the tabletop, and joining in, rolling a few dice here and there for it.
Absolutely.
But one thing that Andrew has been sharing to us, our mate Andrew has picked up some stuff from Medbury Miniatures.
Yes.
The elves that he got there looked really quite nice when he's been painting them up.
Big respect to Medbury. During our second game, I'm pretty sure it was them, one of their tables collapsed with all their stock on it.
Yeah.
And you could the whole hall just went silent, and everyone checked and was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, it was one of their cabinets, or it was the table.
But they
or the cabinet,
just recovered. Every time I went past later on, they were absolutely fine, and they just took it in their stride, fixed it, and got back to it.
Yeah. And their display cases had some fantastically painted miniatures in it. They look so good.
Paint jobs made me physically ill. I was like walking past and I'm like, that's not fair, man. Like, I came here to feel good about my hobby, not to have somebody rub it in. Just amazing work.
Yeah.
Our buddy Andy got a few of the wood elves.
Yeah.
And they are glorious.
Yeah, he's been painting them up this week, and he's been sending his photos in one of our chats, and they look good. So much so I actually went and had a look at their stuff, and I went, I really like the medieval stuff. I don't have anything I can use it for at this stage.
Everything counts as a Huskarl, and you can use them all as like Wild Men of Dunland or Rohan dudes.
I could just do a Bretonian army out of it. Why not? So
you could run like a Minas Tirith fiefdom out of medieval guys.
I could.
You could. There you go. Now you're screwed. You can't escape from that possibility.
Well, look, the other option is that I can always. I did have. I mentioned it. It was about a month or two ago that we were looking at. I was looking at some miniatures and I went, "Oh, look, these look really quite cool." They were just some random miniatures I found online, and I can't remember who made them. They were like Viking miniatures, and I looked at them and gone, "These look so damn good." They were 28 mil.
Right.
I'm sure someone's going to be yelling at their phone saying, "It's this company."
Yeah.
But I looked at it and I went, "That's really cool." I'm sure there's plenty of other Viking games out there, but I want something that's easy, using maybe a system that we already have, so we can modify it. And I was looking at these miniatures and going, I could make a medieval game out of this. I could find some rule set to modify. Yeah. Just play with you guys. It'd be something that we just play for fun.
Yeah.
And quite literally,
Frostgrave or Saga.
Frostgrave. You got Guards of Traders Toll, the new Graham Davey coming out. It looks very nice.
They're dangerously good.
And Andrew's been sending his stuff for that as well. So I'm like, they would look really cool for that. Look, to be honest, there's a lot of good miniatures, and the stuff at Medbury, I did actually trawl through their entire catalogue.
Yeah, nice.
I'm not gonna lie, I spent a good half an hour looking at everything. They have some fantastic stuff there as well. It was great.
So there was a ton of really good vendors there that we went and talked to. You get some new weird looking glue as well, which I hope works out well.
It actually works really well. Hey. So thanks for that, Tim. Tim got me some glue because I was
shutting up shop.
My Revel contactor plastic glue that I've had for 8 years has finally run out. Because my stuff I've built recently has been more metals, or I've been just using the super glue on it. I did unfortunately use some super glue to build the turret on my IS-2, and there is a big old gap that I'm gonna have to make as a weld mark now. Because it didn't sit properly and it's fused together enough with the super glue that I've gone, you know what? I'm not gonna touch it until I get some plastic glue.
This is what we do.
But the glue that Tim got me is quite nice. So it's a weird shaped bottle. It really, really is. But it works great.
Can't judge a glue by its bottle, as they say.
But yeah, and we had a trawl down in the buy swap sell as well.
Yes.
Yep. So they have a big buy swap sell section down there that's run by the gaming club.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah.
Sutherland Gamers.
Sutherland Shire Gamers. Yep.
It's amazingly well run. Like, that is a ton. It was, I think they said something like several thousand entries, like actual items in it this year. They put up a post saying thank you to everybody.
Yeah.
And it was, I'm going to have to check my facts, but I swear it was 7,000 items. And I would not be surprised, because just in the Orc and Goblins tray that I was looking in, there was like 50, 60 bags in that one tray alone. Yeah. And then you look down the length and you're like, all right, well, there's 20 more trays on this table section at about 20 to 50 bags each. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's like...
It's a lot of stuff.
That's easily 1,000 per table setup. And then it's the whole way around the inside, like the whole outside wall of the, like, inside wall. The whole interior wall is like one line of tables that's just sorted really well.
Yeah. They had stuff from... They had books, like, you know, like novels, you know, rule books, board games. I actually saw Rail Raiders there,
oh, nice.
And I was like, hey, I got that.
That's a great one.
Because I got the Kickstarter for it. And I'm like, I should really crack that out and play that one day.
They're really fun to paint too.
Yeah, chibi figures, they're very cool. Yeah. So there's a bunch of board games in there. One of our mates grabbed some board games from there. James got more board games, even though he said he probably shouldn't get more board games. He's got a pile of them.
I think he said not to say anything about it so his wife wouldn't hear it. So
she doesn't listen to this podcast.
Mel, I hope you're listening.
And just tons and tons of miniatures from different game systems. I didn't actually pick anything up this time round, although I was sorely tempted by a lot of the metal Corsair models from like the 6th edition. Was it 6th edition fantasy book?
They're really good.
It was like enough for like a unit of 30, and I love those models. Those models have been some of my favorite. But
the old world bug had bitten me real hard. Like I was, all my stuff was ready for the bolt action tournament, and I was like, I am ready for something new. What can I do? And so I was just ready to start looking at old world properly, because I haven't given it enough time at all since it came out. I don't think
I've actually even read the rule book. I've had a look through some of the stuff and I've gone, yeah, that's cool. I've got stuff left over from my old Empire army to do for this. So
there's so much cool stuff in those new rules that I want to see. So there was a bunch of metal artillery there for Orcs and Goblins, and I was like, even at second-hand prices, I was like, oh, that's not like dirt cheap, but it was like 60% to 50% of the prices that the remakes are going for now on the GW site. Because metal through GW, unfortunately, is very expensive.
Yes.
I think there's a nostalgia price tag attached to it, if I'm honest.
I think that's probably the main feature of it,
right? I know they got out of metal because of the expense, but their resin casting at the time, like fine cast was it was an experiment. And unfortunately, Australia copped that harder than most, because in most other countries, fine cast was better than the Australian ones. To get ours shipped out in time, we got some of the early batches that were not well done. And it failed hard in Australia. Yeah. But now they've gone back to metal, there's a much bigger price tag. So I got a rock lobber with like the orc bully with the whip.
The classic orc bully.
It's like, you got a peg leg and one eye, and then you better be an artillery boy. You can't keep charging into battle with that. And then 2 of the goblin bolt throwers, which I'd always wanted 2 bolt throwers. I don't know why. 1 bolt thrower never seems enough to me. No. But 2 bolt throwers, especially in the new rules, because you don't roll for every guy and then see if it goes through to the next one. It still slams through the unit. Like if you hit a unit, it does 1 hit per rank or file, but each hit is at -1 strength. So you still get 5 hits if you hit a unit of 5 guys. Yeah. But instead of just stopping as soon as you fail a wound roll. Yeah. Because I'm like,
that first guy in the line, just take it to the chest and not die.
There's always some chaos warrior who goes, whatever. Or, you shoot the first goblin and roll a 1.
Yeah. I've done that before with my high elves against your goblins, actually. That's not a good feeling.
Now, that goblin, I guess you could represent this with, that goblin is being flung back through the unit toppling all of his friends over at -1 strength per hit.
Yeah, see, that works. That feels very thematic.
And it means that they're more efficient as well.
Yeah.
So I'm really pumped about that. I've been rebasing those up to the right size. Working on my trolls. I am 2 models away from finished my 365 challenge. I'm not saying this to rub it in, but I am justifiably happy with my progress.
Yeah, as you should be. Yeah.
I've actually got 1 stone troll that I finished as like a concept finished one.
Yeah.
So I've got to take photos of him, and then I'm deciding on my final piece to complete the 365 challenge, which is out there on the table right now, being worked on.
And I looked out there, like I was out there looking at your table, which has got a massive hobby on there. Like it's got so much on there. I didn't even pick it, so it's still a surprise to me. Which, when you reveal, will be pretty damn interesting.
Yeah.
I'll leave my 365.
You made be fair, especially in the lead up to Moab.
Yeah.
You made a ton of progress completing unfinished tasks, which is the whole point of 365.
Yep.
I
finished 90 miniatures.
Yeah, 90 is great. Like, updated basing on a ton of guys, completed entire new squads.
Yeah, there was at least, 30? No, wait. 15. At least about 20 new miniatures that I had to paint up for it. So, I did... Actually, no, more, because I painted some extra guys before that. Yeah, so it was the best part
it's really good.
The best part of sort of 20 to 30 new miniatures on top of what I already had painted, and I finished off a bunch of extras that didn't make it into the army, but I got all the basing finished off, and that was actually a bit of a hard choice on to what I was actually going to do for the final basing on it, because most of the army just didn't even actually have all the rusting done on the metal from the previous storm we went to back in 2016.
Hey.
So it's been a while they've been sitting there. So getting that finished off, it was a pretty good feeling. I am languishing at 140, and I have to admit I have not done a lot of hobby recently.
Love that doing 140 models is languishing.
Well,
just think about that in context.
Well, true.
You lazily only did 140 models.
Yeah, but see, I got to admit, I've been playing Space Marine 2. I've finished the campaign playing that.
That's hobby. That's research.
It's hobby research. It's like, but they're Primaris Marines. Although the starting of what you get to play is a Death Watch regular Marine. That was pretty damn sick. But
Spicy.
I've been playing some of the multiplayer at the moment, because I painted my army up and I went, you know what? I don't really need to do anything extra. We did have our version 3 stuff at that stage, but I was like, I don't want to crack this out, because if I start doing that, I'm gonna forget what I need to do for the tournament.
I was exactly the same. I needed a palette cleanser on my 365 challenge that wasn't all the War Master that I've been churning through, and I was like, I'm going to paint a single Night Goblin just as a test, and then that was like, just do 2 ranks, just do 10 guys and a troll. Finish a troll to see how it feels. And I was like, it feels really good. I'm gonna get straight into this Night Goblin army.
Yeah. Well, I've got a Night Goblin army as well that I rebased for Age of Sigmar that I'm thinking of putting through, and that's got at least about 120 miniatures in it.
Man, that's great. That's right up to 300.
Yeah,
just in time for Christmas.
Very true. Well, I've got 4 months to go on mine, so I got till
you can do that
February next year. So I am hoping I can get some stuff done over the next couple of weeks.
Easily, for sure.
We'll get up to our when we get up to the building the bulge section, so we'll have a chat about some of the stuff I've been working on over the last few days.
Yeah.
But look, we might get into how we went with the tournament, so we'll run into that next. And welcome back, guys. We've got a section here which we're going to call Moab 24 and 25. The reason being that we both finished in the 24th and then the 25th places.
Hooray!
Yay! So low at the bottom end of the pack.
We fought hard for those 24th and 25th spots.
We did, yeah. We went through. It was look. I had a lot of fun at it. I won a single game over the whole weekend.
Same
with you. And it's one of those things that we did have a lot of fun playing against all the different guys. There's a lot of different lists there, a bunch of different nations being used. And being the last tournament for V2, There was, and using the derp selector that they had in the players pack, we had a lot of different army compositions as well.
There was, because some national lists give you some really flexible options. I played a guy called Les in my final game. I'm sure it was Les, yeah, who had a Hungarian list, and I've never played Hungarians before.
Nice, yeah.
And he had like 2 armored cars and a tankette and a open top tank hunting vehicle and a tractor.
Yeah.
To pull his artillery. And I was just spinning in circles trying to work out how to counter all this stuff, because I have no proper AT in my list. My list is a themed Stalingrad list to combat your list.
Yep.
And so I've got like one Panzer IV that's got a light howitzer on it. Didn't take the big AT gun because they weren't widely used on Panzer IVs during Stalingrad early on.
Yep.
So I was like, yeah, cool, I just take this. So I'm spanging shells into the side of tanks, and they're just bouncing off armored cars, needing 7s and going, nah, can't do it.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of stuff like that where just combinations that I didn't expect to come up against.
Yeah.
Threw me some curveballs. What did you find?
Yeah, it was. Look, we haven't played in a tournament setting for quite a long time, and we're the sort of the 2 guys out of our game group that play bolt action. So it's kind of really been an arms race for now.
Andrew,
Andrew, if you're listening, we have seen the group chat this afternoon. And I'm sure there's a few other people as well that probably want to get into playing. Plus, you know what, we always end up sharing armies when people want to learn to play or anything like that. But it was a really interesting mix of armies that I'd not come across.
Yeah.
There were look. Some were more on the cutting edge of gaming. They were like sort of quite honed as far as like, you know, what people were taking.
Yes.
So armies that they played with for a good while, they played a decent number of lead-up games. I think we had one single game with our
with our final list.
Although we'd sort of chopped and changed our list over the last couple of weeks before the tournament, before the list submission, which we messed up, didn't do properly.
True, but yet it all went great.
It all went fine.
Before we go on too much further, I'm going to get the names wrong, but Ian and Adrian.
Yeah.
Ian and Adrian were absolute champs. Really great setup. The tables were amazing. Every time the TOs were required, they were on hand. They were checking in about times all over the place. Great prize support. Great like comedy and keeping people's spirits going. Thank you very much to both of them. They did a great job.
Awesome work. The actual booklet that they brought out for it is actually all printed up. It's really well done. Like I'm going to hold on to mine because it's got some missions in there. It's really good. The tables were fantastic. Like we play on like tables with a lot of terrain. Your stuff's quite nice, but some of the tables there, the guys had put in. Got to be at least like 100 hours in some cases on some of those boards. Like
check out our Instagrams, which should be linked on the main page, but also we've mentioned them in the past. Hyperfocus Hobbies on Instagram and Beer Battered Brush.
That's mine.
There is a ton of pictures from the event on there. And the tables were just spectacular, and a lot of those are provided by the TOs and just people from their gaming community bringing in their own boards. There's like a submarine dock.
That was really cool, actually, seeing that.
There's a Stalingrad train line.
Which we didn't get to play on. That would have been perfect.
Itching to get our boards. So that we could play on a Stalingrad board, just like our theme. Because I'm tired of us playing in Normandy. It's so green on the table that we use.
With all of our snow-based troops.
So just big thanks to the TOs because everything was just really good. It was a great return to playing bolt action.
It was, and all the games that people just like, even between rounds, before rounds, we were just sort of standing there talking, having a chat with people. People come up and have a look at the list or ask how you did, that kind of thing. Like, it was a really great atmosphere. A lot of a really good group of people to play against. We've had a lot of fun at it. We really got to make sure that we do also say thanks to everyone, all the volunteers that were there at the weekend as well. So the people that were helping out in the canteen, all the guys from the Shy Gaming Club doing all the stuff behind the scenes, like the tables, the amount of tables that they had more tables than they needed.
Yeah.
Like there was
it's a ton of setup. You really got to think about just the storage of boards. Like I was thinking about how many 6-foot boards are on those tables. You need a forklift. To actually store that stuff. Like if you were at Bunnings and said, "Can I please have 200 6x4 MDF boards to put gaming tables on?" They would get a forklift and bring that stuff in from the lumber section.
Deliver it on the back of one of those trucks, man. Like with a little forklift on the back of it.
It's a tremendous amount of hauling and storage. It's just well done.
So and especially at the end of the weekend with packing up, everybody chips in, which is really good to help out. Obviously, you want to be a bit with people that have brought their own tables. You're a bit hesitant, like I don't want to put something in that doesn't. So you had guys checking what goes where, that sort of thing. So and everybody chips in to help out at the end.
True to form for the bolt action community, everybody helped pack up a table. Like the only people that took off had to take off because of time. But everybody else stayed around and helped. And I've been at other game systems where everyone just goes, "Oh well, I lost, see ya," and they just bail.
They just like leg it at the end of the round.
Somebody else's problem. It's not my terrain.
I'm not getting a prize. That's it. So look, it is a testament, I think, to the group that you have playing. And we had people that were Sydney locals, ones from up the coast. There was a group of us that had come up from Wollongong, and a few people that had flown in as well. There was one guy who flew in as well, I think. So I think Aaron, the guy who won it, I think he flew in. So because there was a bit of a joke there at the end when he was getting his prize that he couldn't take it onto the plane because it was shaped like a Piat round.
Yeah, the prizes were 3D printed Piat rounds with like first place on them. And there was space in the explosive cavity for it to hold a miniature
warlord trophy,
which is great. Very thematic and very funny, unless you're about to get your luggage scanned to get on a plane.
I don't think the police at the airport would be too fond of that.
At least it wouldn't show up as metal.
Yeah, that's true. So so we figured we'd do a quick run over our lists. Just a very brief overview on what we took, what the missions were, and just how who we played.
Just a quick run through of like how our games went and what we felt.
So for my list, I took the as we said towards the top of the episode, my Ratton Creek list, which is an all infantry Soviet force based around the Battle of Stalingrad, as per our theme forces. So I had a senior officer running around. I had 2 squads of 10 SMG guys with anti-tank grenades.
They hurt so much.
Well, they got to get to range first. Basically, because I wanted to make sure everyone, and you figure there would be a lot of tanks, and boy, were there a lot of vehicles at this at this tournament for all the armies. So they had some anti-tank grenades. I had 2 scout squads running around, infiltrating in behind from the edges of the board, which did help me out a fair bit in games. Some tank hunter squads, flamethrower team, again really good to helping out on a few cases, and a free rifle squad, light mortar, medium machine gun, which just kind of helped throwing out some pin markers on stuff. Sniper team, and that was pretty much the majority of my army. Like not having any vehicles, and I didn't have anything big standing out as far as something to take on anything big. Like pretty much it was down to dudes with grenades in hand charging tanks. That's what it was basically down to for the anti-tank capability. But everyone, the only squad that didn't have submachine guns on it was the freebie 12-man squad that you get for playing as a Soviet player in version 2. Obviously with version 3 things have changed. They got rid of the free units. But I had an awful lot of SMGs, which as soon as I got within 12 inches or 6 inches, which was preferable to get the point blank for the extra bonus to hit, made them really quite hard to stand up against with a wall of fire. Although my rolling is always pretty crap. So there's that.
So with your list in hand, you went up against any and everything that was designed for a tournament, where yours... I would say it's pretty fair. Both our lists were designed for friendly games. With each other.
Mine especially.
Yes.
It is the fluffiest of the fluffiest lists.
My list is... we'll go through the rest of your stuff and I'll come back to mine. But both our lists are not optimized
No.
to use the vernacular. If vernacular is not too swashy of a rule, a word, but they're not optimized tournament winning lists.
No.
So
my
they're very
themed,
not. They're narrative, and they do what we want them to do.
Yeah.
But going up against a range of opponents is pretty tricky. So, who would you say was your toughest opponent list-wise?
So, the guys I played were Julian in the first round with his Soviets, Mark in the second round with his LRDG. Now, that was actually a tough list to play against. And my third round, as usual, was against Tim.
Hey.
So, if we go to a tournament together, we invariably play each other. Usually the third round on the first day, because
third round besties.
Because we've either lost both of our games or won one and lost one, so we're sitting about even. We did not get to play on the Stalingrad table, but we did kind of play on a what could have been described as, I suppose, a retreat from Stalingrad.
Yeah.
So
it worked as outskirts of the city.
Outskirts of the city with
suburbs
little,
and farms.
Yeah, like a couple of houses, a farm, that kind of thing. We should have asked Ian really to move us over to the Stalingrad table. Would have been great. And then I played on the second day. I played Sean with his 101st Airborne Veteran Force, which was did have me have a lot of pause because Americans with their fire and maneuver stuff is really quite good. And the last round I played Rex with his Soviets. And now that was a really tight game by the end of it. So
it looked like there was a lot of blood.
It was, put it this way, we were both standing going, is it hot? Is it hot? Like, to each other, because we were sweating it. It was really close. It came down to 5 millimeters I was out by on the final objective to get it to a draw. But yeah, I had look, they were all great opponents. I had a lot of fun playing against them all. A lot of laughs, a lot of missed opportunities. I had a lot of really brave single Soviet submachine gunners surviving hails of I think against Mark, I had one guy. He goes, "Oh, do you want to go down?" I'm like, "I've got one dude. No, I'll take the hits."
Tank the hits.
He'd taken 20 shots from machine guns off all of his LRDG trucks, and he stood there and took him. And then he ran up and wiped out a squad. It was
so good.
And he goes, "That shouldn't happen." I'm like, "No." But
that's why long shots are cool.
But I had the same thing happen with Julian in the first round. Had one guy survive. I had the same thing with you. Same thing with Sean, and the same thing with Rex. I had just one dude who would just not die regardless of how much firepower was thrown at him.
So good.
And he would just sit there just plugging away shots with his submachine gun and sitting there just within 6 inches.
As the phrase goes, and I love that I heard this around the tables, bolt action happens.
Bolt action happens,
I don't know if the phrase was coined by Brad over on Cast Ice, but I heard it over there first, and I was like, that's the best.
Yeah.
I love when bolt action happens. And other people just said it, stuff would go crazy, and they're like, well, bolt action happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, the amount of lost troops on my side was phenomenal. I had games where I was pretty much near wiped to a man, that sort of thing. The one thing I got from a lot of people was like, "Where's your tanks?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't have any tanks." It's like, well, "Where's your armored car?" Don't have that. "Where's your artillery?" Don't have that either. This is designed to be a full building to building, room to room fighting force. Yes. This is the way I've themed it. But that being said, the amount of firepower I could throw out at such a short range, I quite literally had at one stage there, walked up within 6 inches with, I had I think 6 guys left in a squad, and I managed to get 10 out of 12 hits. 10 out of 12 hits on it, and that went to four wounds. Because of course my rolling is bad at the best of times.
Yeah.
Lots of 3s when I really needed 4s. And it would still go through and decimate half a squad. So I get lucky enough with that. But you know what? Especially playing against Sean on the fourth round, he had 2 fubars in a row, which I've never seen. When we play, we don't really get the fubars occurring. We somehow managed to roll.
We just lucked out of it. I had 6 over the course of the tournament, and my opponents I was on games where 6 of them happened.
Yeah,
not all me.
Oh, not all you. Okay,
but someone that I played, I think it was Ian. He had like 2 FUBARs on the same vehicle.
Oh,
and
no.
it just kept backing up. It was just like, nope, I'm freaking out. And it just kept reversing.
Well, that's
it
rough.
reversed up to the table edge and stopped because it's version 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the when I was playing with Sean, like he had his two his veteran units. They literally just backed up 12 inches straight, like just legged it. And they were in a good position. If they'd passed, thrown off a pin, they would have been able to go through and do a lot of damage to my units. I will admit my scout squads did quite well for me over the weekend. So
they're great little earners for you.
Yeah, they're jumping out and doing a few things here and there to help out. I did actually have one squad manage to take out Sean's Chaffee, which was
nice.
Was pacing my squads with the amount of like firepower I could put out. But yeah, like the missions, missions we used a bunch of the ones from the Bolt Action Alliance, including another one as well, the first one that we never actually played.
Yes.
Which was interesting.
There were only, I think, 2 missions in there that we practiced on.
Yep.
And everything else was brand new to me, and I just had to roll with it.
Yeah, sometimes it goes like that. What was in? That's enough about me, about sort of my stuff.
Sure.
But Tim, what was in your list?
So I changed my list at the last minute before submission, and then realized I didn't have enough models to make the list that I'd submitted, and so I went in and edited it and changed it. So what I ended up with, based off the Stalingrad timeline, was like a kind of occupying force that was digging in. So I had 4 identical 10-man squads of here infantry for my Germans, which is 10-man squads with SMGs for the sergeant and LMGs for the squad. I had a medium machine gun team, a medium mortar team, a medium artillery team. You see my theme here is middle of the line.
Yep.
Right? I figured that kind of porridge would be just right. But apparently I lacked enough focus in any one area.
Bears?
Yeah. So I had a sniper team as well, and my officer, because he's German, he only needs to be the lowest rank because he gets a bonus
for the
snap to order anyway. I had a Panzer IV with a light howitzer, and then I had a truck to tow the artillery, which really threw me during one game, actually, which I'll tell you about in a minute. I had a truck because I need one so that I can tow the artillery. But I normally, because the artillery is deployed, I use the truck to bring on my 7 Pioneers with submachine guns. And that gives me like a nice fast-moving intercept force that I can get close to an objective, drop them out, hose down the thing. And because they're veterans, they've tanked quite a lot of damage across the tournament. The thing that I got wrong was that when we got to a mission where I didn't start with my artillery on the board, and I went, it's okay, the Pioneers are in the back of the truck, and I could fit the sniper team in there as well, so I often brought them in together. And I'll just tow the artillery on. Artillery takes up the entire transport capacity of a vehicle.
Was that our game?
Was it?
I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I had to suddenly like run all my other guys on, like, get out, we need room for the artillery crew, and displace the guys that I really wanted to be in the fast-moving transport.
Well, it says that will have the artillery piece destroyed because it can't move onto the table.
So the big thing that my force lacked was any kind of meaningful anti-tank. And something that that we've both commented on in our chats is that we really saw the meta as it's described in other places. Like we hear people talking about the prevailing wind that is blowing like light vehicles with lots of machine guns. So like we've heard that this is on the rise, but we haven't played it because we play each other with our themed lists. And then you get to the table and I was like, I played against Wes and he had like 3 to 4 vehicles that all had double light machine guns or like an extra light machine gun here or there. Or
like when I played the LRDG list of marks, like just the amount of shots that were coming out.
There was an Italian like commandeered vehicle that the Germans can use, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's got 4 medium machine guns, so it's 20 shots a turn in version 2.
Yeah,
it was in 2 of the really solid lists that I played because it's such a valuable vehicle. And it would literally drive up to point blank and just hose it. Like, I'd run a squad into cover, like dive down behind a wall, and it would just drive around the wall and go, well, nothing hiding you, and obliterate. Like, my sniper team literally jumped out of a truck and got cut in 4 pieces. It was, So that was my list. My opponents, I played a fellow called James in the first round who was also playing Germans, but he had the Guerra or the Guerre sniper rifle?
The Guerre 43 sniper,
I'm pretty sure he had. It might have been someone later on, actually. I know Ian had one for sure later on. But basically it goes, I'm a sniper rifle, but after I shoot on a 4+, I'm allowed to take a second shot. So it's...
With a semi-automatic.
So it was outstandingly efficient. I poured tons of fire onto it and only managed to kill the loader spotter. So I just had to leave it in the end. But I played 2 different lists that had double Howling Cow multiple rocket launchers.
That's rough.
It is, because you sort of look at it and go, okay, they're going to paste some units if I keep them together. So you spread all your squads out. After the first salvo, where you realize how bad it's going to be, then you go, I better spread my squads out. But it only takes one lucky turn where you roll more 6s than you should, and then they've been horribly effective for 40 points. And trying to lob mortar shells onto them to take them out or snipe the crew was just killing me, how often I would hit and then do no damage. And they go, I've got like 3 pins and I'm inexperienced, but I don't care because...
I always hit on a 6.
And so as long as they passed their check to stay on and actually shoot, they just pasted it. And because they both had 2, they would just hit the same cluster of troops with 2 multiple rocket shots. I will say, Ian, if you ever listen to this, I definitely used psychological warfare against Ian, because I put a 10-man squad in a village hut on the it was like a PNG board that we were playing on, right? Which is the one that you played the LRDG on. So it's a jungle forest terrain, lots of village huts. And I was like, you can bring down buildings. And like, he got it into his head that would be a cool thing to do, because I tried to...
it would be cool.
I tried to mortar one that his sniper was in. I was like, that'd be a great way to finish that off. And once it was in his head, he was like, I really want that to happen now. And so he redirected all of his artillery fire and his multiple rocket launchers onto this one building, just to try to pace it, and it just wouldn't get hit.
That's insane.
It was like 3 turns of 2 multiple rocket launchers and a medium mortar, all firing on the same building.
Jeez.
No hits, or like really small number of random hits, and it wasn't enough to take it out. It was the best little bit of like, hey, it'd be a real shame if you brought down that building. Because to be fair, he was absolutely kicking my butt all over the rest of the table anyway. And I was like, that's fine. He's actually got such a lead, he can take time out to try to shell this building's pieces from crushing everything else. But in the end, that game actually came out as... It was a draw until the kill points came in. Because I bolted guys onto objectives.
And
So played James with Germans, played one of our old mates from the workshop, Theo, played his Japanese force, which was a whole other thing. He doesn't play the sort of stereotypical Japanese force that's lots of spear companies. It's a whole like rifle-based Japanese army with a unit of cavalry.
I thought I saw horses when I looked, because we were playing side by side, and I looked over and I could just see a bunch of horses.
Japanese combat cavalry.
Legging it towards your lines.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind me describing his tanks as being the greatest work of engineering on origami ever, because he used, like, they have the lightest armor and they spit out the ton of machine gun shots, and he used them really well. Then I played you in the third round.
Hooray!
Then I played the guy Ian, who had his SS army with the semi-auto sniper rifle and 2 howling cows and a bunch of other cool stuff. That poor dude, it took up to like turn 5 before his main tank arrived from reserves.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
But he still acquitted himself so well across the game. That might have been my draw, because I did get one draw, and it was either that one or against Les. Les's Hungarian force was... We started off having an artillery duel against our 2 medium artilleries.
Yep.
And the first one down just owned that side of the table for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Which was his. So he was like, yep, I got this. It's in the bag. But yeah, all the opponents, the sportsmanship was great the whole way through.
It was, yeah.
I've never had such a pleasant beating from a nicer bunch of guys, honestly.
Yeah. Look, it was like every now and then there'd be something where you get there and you would just have something that would be so outrageous or so heroic for like your troops would like pass that morale check with flying colours, whatever it might be. I will admit with the I did not anticipate how much AA guns would really make it hard for me to do anything.
Yeah.
I like playing against Julian in the first round for my one. He had an AA gun and he had a multiple rocket launcher system, and he really got at least one good shot in and pasted one of my troops. But sometimes it's just down to the other choices in the army. So being able to move your troops onto the field a lot quicker using vehicles, that sort of thing. Having like there was a lot of great armies out there, a lot of really nice looking armies as well. So everyone did really good. Everybody set their stuff up for. Some of us set up their stuff up for the parade. Look, it just overall really great time as far as the games are concerned. The missions were good, although mind you, my 4th round and 5th round kind of basically ended up being the same mission, just where the points dropped for one of the objectives for supply drop for the last round. Mine fell pretty much like directly middle of the board again, just like the previous one, and that made it real difficult because I kind of had my troops spread out to cover areas. If it dropped sort of more towards the center, but like more along the 6 foot length, it was really quite good. The missions, from the Bolt Action Alliance pack, really really good, and just look great overall.
Absolutely. I think we said first place was taken by Aaron. I believe. I honestly can't remember all of the placings. I'm going to sound like an idiot, but I don't know them because I was at the other end of the tables. I was not anywhere near the guys that placed up the top, so I didn't meet them. They were all unknown entities to me. But the prize that I was most impressed with went to the guy sitting opposite me right now, who got a special prize, which Warlord asks the tournament organizers to give for like the best styled, themed, cool army, whatever the TO wants to decide, and it's called the Hannoswag Award, which Mitch got for his army list because its theme was so strong. Even though its tactical optimization wasn't as strong.
It was at 0.
Yeah.
It's like one of those star maps where you have like your theme, painting, all this kind of stuff, and then like battle effectiveness is like right back into the center. There's nothing there. So
when Ian was reading it out, he's like, he took a list that was all infantry, and people around the room were like... Casimir like no tanks,
disbelief.
No anti-tank. What? Wow, well done.
Well, I had tank hunters, but they're all armed with SMGs and spent too much time shooting stuff or getting destroyed.
It was great. So much respect. That's why our friend Carly was just like, you should just call this the Hannoswag episode because it's so cool that Mitch got that.
Yeah, look, it was quite surprising to get. It was like we ended up you ended up 24th, I ended up 25th. I think the only reason was because you got the way it worked out was you had one loss, I had one loss, you had a draw, I had a costly the last one against Rex ended up being a costly victory to him. mainly because we just clawed at each other, destroyed enough. I managed to destroy enough of his stuff. Very hard to get to that point. And that kind of put us right below each other. We were quite surprised when we looked at the listings at the end and went, "Oh, we're right behind each other."
Yeah, it's right there. Look, it was an absolutely awesome weekend. It's I've been to a few tournaments in between our last Bolt Action one and this one.
Yeah,
but I've played better in other tournaments than I did this weekend, right?
Oh yeah. Look,
I still probably would say I had more fun at this Bolt Action tournament than I have at the last few like Legion tournaments that I've gone to, for example.
Yeah.
And it was just really good. It's a very different style of game because, as Brad says, a rifleman's a rifleman.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much that is known and understood, and even an elite unit in Bolt Action is only 1 point harder to wound more elite than anybody else.
Yeah.
So everyone is still just as killable, just as fallible. The generalship matters a lot in Bolt Action, and I love that. Did you have any other thoughts about the tournament itself? That's pretty much everything for me.
Yeah, look, like you said, we've had a great weekend up there. I can highly recommend to anyone that if you are in the area during the October long weekend, come down and just check it out. Even if you're not there to play anything, we had our friends Andrew and Lee come up. We saw one of our other mates that we haven't seen I haven't seen in a while. Jason,
yeah.
He was there. He came up with one of our mates who was in the Legion tournament. It's just an excuse to have a wander around, check out some cool stuff. Like they had some other. I think Aetherworks was there with their shop front.
Yeah.
They had a lot of stuff. There was another game there as well that was a battleship game, but it was like the old Dreadnought era, like pre-1914 battleships, which looked really cool. I think they're an Australian company as well.
Yeah. You see so many cool little startups as well.
Yeah, like people have got, I think Dice Arcade were there as well, and a few other guys that do some more historical stuff. Like there's participation games to check out, and honestly, just having a wander around and looking at it, I didn't even get a chance to go up and see the Chain of Command stuff because they generally have some really quite well built up tables, and also Old World was up where we were last year.
Didn't even get a look.
Didn't get up there.
So busy.
Yeah, just too much stuff. I think there's some other stuff going downstairs as well that were like the historical stuff. I think there was.
I don't know if there was this year, but regardless, always go along, check the website, find out what's going to be on, and go and check it out.
Yeah, definitely, guys.
Tales have been told about a threat rising in the far corners of France. A bulge of great destruction that poses a threat to the Allies and everything they hold dear. The Battle of the Bulge Boxes have been out for about a week, 2 weeks at this point.
Yep.
And we turn to our regular section, Building the Bulge, to discuss where we're up to on our little hobby journeys of getting ready for version 3.
Yep.
Before we go into it, I just want to say, playing a tournament at version 2, while like every game someone went, oh, well, that only works that way for now. In version 3 that won't happen.
Had that happen a lot.
And I have been in like almost a media blackout, just trying not to think about the version 3 rules, because my little Adda brain will get super confused trying to remember everything at once.
Yeah, and I've got like so many different game systems plugged into my brain. Like it's too hard to remember what's supposed to go with what at the moment. Yeah. With all the new stuff we're doing. So yeah, like I kept my rulebook packed away until
good choice
until after the tournament. So I've had a bit of a flip through that, mainly looking at what unit options I now have available to myself. And
I literally only looked at pictures. I flicked through it and went, wow, that's a thick book. That's some cool pictures. And then I just put it down and went, all right, I'll come back to you in 2 weeks.
So we've been doing a little bit of work here and there on our armies. So what have you actually been working on as far as building your bulge, Tim?
So because I normally I tend to go with a few maximum size infantry squads. Big believer in the basic rifle squad.
Mm-hmm.
I love LMGs. There was a guy I played at the tournament who was like, huh, so you find having LMGs in your squads is good? That does look pretty good. Maybe I should start doing that. And
Well, they got cheaper now.
yeah. But I always do, because just having the ability to strike out at a bit longer range. And with Germans, it's an extra shot, at least for version 2. I haven't looked for version 3 about German machine guns yet.
Pretty sure I'm pretty sure, but someone's going to go, no, you're wrong, or yes, you're right.
Read a book, you jerks.
Read a book. I haven't, but I haven't looked at it properly. I only look at the pretty pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I looked at basically was what I can put in a basic 10-man American squad, and it turns out it's a 12-man squad. They're 6-man with the option for another 6.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Which is cool, because the way I've built the army is like 2 of the starter boxes plus some regular GIs, not winter coat GIs. Then I'm going to mix through. I'm going to green stuff some scarves and some mittens and stuff, and make them look like they're under-equipped for the front.
Yeah.
Because very like Band of Brothers style, like when they're up there and they're all like, Joe Garnier doesn't have boots, or someone's using socks for mittens because that's all they've got.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to get a bit of green stuff out and put like a scarf that someone sent them from home and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just throw them in, like lots of the knitted woolen caps instead of helmets. So because of that, I've got a lot of infantry to build, because I've got 2 of those plastic sets. So I'm going to try to make as many of my weapons teams and specialists like medics and observers, spotters. I'm going to try to make those out of the plastics. And I started off with just a 6-man squad with a BAR and a sergeant.
Yeah.
And that was my test run. But I can basically take that again, because you can have like 3 SMGs per squad as well. It might be even more. I think it's 4 plus the sergeant.
Yeah.
So then you can have 4, the sergeant, and a BAR, and that's a legitimate squad.
But I'll say that's a lot of SMGs, yet this is coming from someone who has a whole Soviet force filled with SMGs.
Exactly. And SMGs, they're all the cool ones in the movies.
They are, yeah.
So I'm going to build probably 4 basic infantry squads, like 48 men.
Yeah.
And then a couple of sort of veteran-y squads that will be a bit more ragtag with lots of SMGs in those.
Yeah.
And then I'll build out the rest. But that's all I've built so far is 6 men. And I've done all my French infantry, which is going to be the start of our narrative campaign. I'll be using the French up until a certain point when the Allied Americans come in.
Yeah.
That's all I've built so far. But I did have a bit of fun. We're on a road trip the other day to do a job with my flatmate Carl's, and it's like an 8-hour trip, like 4 hours down, 4 hours back.
Yeah.
So I just took all the Battle of the Bulge parts and some clippers, and while we were driving and chatting away, I was just clipping out bases, like
good use of time,
everything into a bag, another Ziploc bag, every single body cut out, ready to go. So that's going to get me ahead a bit. I can just dig into this bag and be like, yeah, cool. I guess you're going on a base right now.
You grab this body, grab that head, and I'll find a set of arms that work for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's what I've built so far. What about yourself?
I've been very light on the building. I've been, again, playing some Space Marine 2, but I... Because, stomping people into the ground is always a lot of fun on that.
Yeah.
But I did actually finished off building... my IS-2, so that I've sort of had partially done, as I mentioned at the start. And last night I cracked out my Yag Tiger, because why not? He is a beast of a model. The IS-2 is big compared to the T-34s and the KV-1 I built earlier, but man, it is a massive model. Yeah. And I haven't finished putting the parts on it yet. There's still to put the side plates on with a few other bits and pieces, and I've got to choose whether I'm going to put the side skirts on it or not.
That's a tough choice. They look cool, but sometimes you want to see all those tracks.
Well, true, yeah. So, but then it does mean I have to paint all the tops of those tracks.
Well, you lost me.
Yeah.
Side skirts it is.
Yeah, side skirts. Plus, I mean, look, it's more of an aesthetics choice because obviously, like, as we have discussed in the previous ones, Jagd Tigers really weren't there. They were
there adjacent.
They're adjacent. I actually had a look at some information about it. There was a place called Oinen or Ihan or something like that. My German is rubbish as usual, and someone's going to say, "No, you idiot! It's pronounced like this."
Yep. Please do.
But yeah, they're actually about looking at the map now, like. Drive time now, obviously with all the nice roads and not being shot at by Allied aircraft and all that kind of stuff, was about an hour and a half, 2 hours away, kind of thing, from where we've set where the coal mine pocket was.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, well, look, feasibly, it can. Taking some historical license. If we wanted to go full historical, it'd be Jagd Tigers and Hetzers and that kind of thing. But I'd love that machine way too much. Like
it's so cool.
It is one thick boy. It is huge. So it's I've started working on that, and I've been sort of plotting out what I'm looking at putting in, because I'm doing the Gewichtsjäger. When we were talking about it on the podcast, I actually had Sam, our mate Sam, who took his Romanian mountain tournament
at MOAB. Yeah,
at MOAB. He played with his Romanians, and he actually used Gewichtsjäger bodies for his stuff, and he had all the heads left over. And he said, "Do you want the heads out?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, I'll put all those on." So I'm going to be using the plastic Fallschirmjäger bodies, because the padded suits and things like that would have been used not just by them but by others as well. What it means is I can go through and actually put those heads on, give it that little bit of that Gewichtsjäger feel to it, but still also mix in some heads. You've actually given me a bunch of old sprues from your Winter Germans, which still got some, like the style helms, a few other ones with like the woolen cap, like some woolen caps or whatever it might be, some of the officers' peaked caps, and that allows us to go through and build up a bunch of basically just infantry models. So not much else from there that we really need to do. But I did pick up some other, just two of the frames with the extra bodies on there from the War Library.
Nice.
And we're there just to give me some extra variety. I can chuck one or two extra miniatures in to help break up the same units.
Perfect. With the full frames and like some of the half-empty frames that you got from me, there's a ton of different heads in there that you'll be able to use.
There's also some backpacks which work really well, so I might even try and do like an engineer squad or something like that. Nice. So because I can build up. There's a lot of Sturmgewehr assault rifles on those frames and the FG-42s. Well, especially
because I use up so many of the rifles on my guys. I didn't leave you a lot of rifles.
No, but that being said, I can take a couple of submachine guns on the on squad members if I wanted to make more of a traditional sort of Gewichtsjäger. They had that rather than the late war. But with the late war, I can take some Volksgrenadier. They can have the first 5 guys.
And Colmar is late war, so. Like, our setting still fits.
It still fits for late war, yeah.
I've often shied away from the assault rifle units just because I didn't want to be locked into late war. But they're cool as well. Like, I've got one squad of Winter Germans with assault rifles to use as just like a veteran grenadier squad or something. And they're the last infantry that I've got to paint up for my army. Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, I get all my colour schemes back out and work it out.
Yeah. With the other things that we're looking at grabbing, I've got. Look, I made some extra purchases. I did grab myself the Winter German support, so it has the officer, a mortar, and a medium machine gun. Basically, it's the same set that you got for your for your guys. And also got the special weapons, basically the special weapons team. So I got a Panzerschreck, which again fits for late war. Flamethrower and a sniper, because let's face it, I would never leave home without a sniper. I like them too much.
Yeah, they're fun.
But I will admit, unfortunately, my box with the officer did come with a snapped off front barrel for the submachine gun, but I kind of really want to have him with an with a Sturmgewehr anyway. So I'm gonna cut it, and I'm gonna have to file it back and refill the coat a bit with some green stuff. Yeah. But apart from that, I've got those as a couple of new purchases.
Awesome.
What about you? Anything else you've kind of picked up for your Americans?
So I'm not sure if I've talked about it before, but my Americans I bought ahead of time some different bits and bobs. So I've got a a Wolverine, the M10 Wolverine, as my anti-tank.
Yep.
Then I tried to sort of go with almost an open-top theme because I don't use a lot of open-top vehicles. Because you get your head shot off. So
funnily enough,
I got the little Scott tank. I think it's an M8, which just has a light howitzer in it, but on a turret, and it's open top, so it's like a little tiny artillery tank.
Yeah. Well, especially now with indirect fire, giving
not
no
bad,
cover
right?
saves, it's going to be helpful.
And then there was a deal somewhere, and I picked up the M7 Priest, which is not a small tank. It is almost twice the volume of the Scott.
Yeah.
And has a heavy howitzer. It's
not going to lie, that's it's going to be tasty.
So I'm really looking forward to those. And then in reading through the background for different conflicts around Colmar from my awesome book with no pictures, Eisenhower's Thorn on the Rhine, there's quite a few stories about how the Americans arrived and tried to support them. There was like a single railway bridge into the town, and they were trying to get Shermans across that. The Germans had AT guns on the other side. There was a whole bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah.
So I picked up a single Sherman. I can't remember which designation, whatever fit for generic use, basically.
Well, now with the way they're designed in the book, it's like, pick this. Do you want to have this rule, that, whatever? Yeah. It's going to be a lot easier to figure it out because I admit I do have the American book, and it's like you can have this one, but this catches fire, or you take this one. This one also catches fire, but it also has this rule that's worse for it as well. But it costs less points.
But also the yogurt is cursed.
Yeah, it comes with your free choice of topping.
So I've got the Sherman, and there was a thing about how the Allies only had, I think it was like 57mm anti-tank artillery guns. And once again, there was like one of those on Gap Games, and I went, great, I'll grab one of those.
Yep.
I thought I'd ordered two of them, but I only got one because I wanted a little...
Like an artillery
battery
for it,
kind of thing, yeah. So I might look and see if I can find another one, because I want to get one with winter crew and one with basic crew, so I can make them look a bit more shabby, like they're cobbled
like
together.
A hodgepodge of gear,
mix them all through.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That's pretty much it for them. I haven't got any other metal infantry for them. Everything's going to be out of the plastics, so it's just the tanks. But the tanks are up next.
Nice,
yeah,
very cool. Yeah, I think as we actually go through and have a bit more of a read through the rule book and start building up the miniatures, our forces will probably evolve a little bit.
Yeah.
We're sort of keeping more to I'm going to say ahistorical, as you have atypical but ahistorical kind of forces, not a singular historical. Yes. There's stuff that isn't quite strictly based on what was there, but we've taken a few little liberties here and there just to help sort of with a bit of a theme. As far as listing is concerned, if we took exactly what was there, it would be an awful lot of my guys with top end gear, but with very little ammunition for any of it. Because they had a lot of high end, high caliber, anti-armor pieces as far as artillery is concerned, but they had no shells.
Yeah.
Or
that's it. Rationing your shots.
Essentially, it was down. I was reading a section that was talking about it, and the majority of it was they had very little ammunition to actually run it. They even had one of the tanks get shot at by a Volksgrenadier squad. This is actually based off the information for the Jagdtiger, who was fighting it was north
nearby.
Nearby. They'd never actually seen one of them before, and so they shot it thinking it was an American tank and destroyed it. It's crazy to think that kind of thing was still happening, that they didn't, even the basic troops on the ground didn't actually know what was going on.
Well, on that topic, sorry if I'm cutting off and keep going, there was a thing when the M10 Wolverines were introduced, they were so unknown that Allied troops thought that they were German tank killers, right?
Yeah.
Because they were open topped and the profile was different from a Sherman.
Yeah.
And there are some that had red markings to show that they were Allied troops, and some that had like literal signs hanging on them that said, "I am an Allied tank, don't shoot me," or words to that effect.
Yeah.
Because the troops, it was the barrel markings. They had special barrel colorings,
Yeah.
like stripes and things on them, that were to make sure the Allied troops knew they weren't German tanks.
Jeez.
Because
okay.
they were
Yeah,
like,
didn't
"What
know
the
that.
hell is that thing?
Yeah.
Doesn't look like a German. Doesn't look like doesn't look like a Sherman or a Cromwell or anything we're used to."
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "Holy crap! You know, German infantry's coming through the forest behind us,
Yeah.
or German tanks are coming through behind us. Shoot that thing."
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's gonna be. Maybe I'll have to paint up a little sign to protect me from friendly fire, FUBARs.
Yeah.
But like, I'm pretty excited because we're both doing the sort of wintry theme. You've got a table that's in the works for Colmar as well.
Yeah, so I've got it's something we've sort of discussed a bit on and off. I picked up a winter mat from Knights of Dice when he did a little flash sale of some stock he had left over. So I grabbed that, and he's done another flash sale as well. Just recently picked up some of the little village buildings to use as like little cottages.
Yeah, awesome.
Gonna add some extra bits and pieces to it to make it look a bit more 1940, like early 19th century, mid 19th century sort of buildings. But they're gonna sort of be up in the hills. Gonna make some hills like for snowdrifts. I have way too many trees that you get in those packs at Audi at Christmas time. I can, for anybody, if you're looking for trees, Audi at Christmas time when they do their like little nativity scene sets and like things like that, they put out the trees with the white flock on them. Pick them up. They're relatively cheap. You get heaps in there. I bought like 4 packs last year, and then you gave me like another, I don't know, like 40.
I only wanted them for the little ones that are close to War Master scale.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them were...
Yeah, actually came up for the War Master ones. I had a bunch last year when we were looking at it, and I didn't pick any up then. I don't need to now because I got all yours.
We've started getting so finicky about how massive all the trees are on our War Master board.
Yeah.
I went out and ordered like 10 millimeter tall pine trees, like 100 of them, so that we can like put like 10 of them on a 40 mil base and put it in a forest outline.
Yeah.
And then it looks like a proper dense
forest. Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to using those to decorate some islands for fjord serpents as well.
Yeah, that would be very cool. Yeah. So yeah, I've got a whole bunch of trees for the Colmar board. Then look, I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that I'm going to end up making for this board that I'll go, I've made it, and there's just way too much terrain. Although, mind you, more terrain is not a bad thing in this new edition.
It is great.
With the with version 3 with all the cover for the cover saves. So, I'll be working on a board that might be for a future episode about goals for next year. We'll probably look at have a chat about that sort of stuff. But so we'll be working on I'll be working on a board for that because Tim's been working on boards for. He does a lot of awesome terrain stuff, so he's normally the terrain board guy. Him and Andrew do a lot of work on that stuff. Me, not so much. I just don't have the space to store a lot of it, but I do have multiple tables worth of terrain to do.
Oh yeah,
to play yard hammer with. So set the tables up in my backyard and with the mat down and go from there.
Looking forward to that again.
Yeah, that was actually quite nice last summer doing that when it's not stinking hot, like 35 plus degree days. And I've only got one tree that really gives good enough shade in the backyard.
Oh, well. Realistic, real-world issues.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's basically where we're up to for building the bulge.
Yeah.
The bulges are being built. The boards are being built.
Yeah.
The battalions are being built.
Exactly,
Everything's starting with a B.
Yeah. So definitely check out our Instagrams for
lots of progress
photos. I will try and be better at putting progress photos. I am terrible at it.
Everything counts as progress.
Yeah. So because I only get very limited time in the evenings mainly to do stuff. It's sort of like I can do an hour worth of work. I send a photo to the group chat going, here's what I'm working on.
Yeah.
And then I don't take any other photos. And then I sit there and I've got half a squad done. There'll be more updates coming up for that kind of stuff. So definitely check out Tim's because he's an absolute beast with hobby stuff.
Thank you. I'm learning to take compliments and just say thank you.
Yeah. I want to say a big thanks to everybody that's again had the nice words. Sharing the information. let people know about it. We were both telling people at the tournament about the podcast, because we're trying to just, we're doing this for a bit of fun. If you like it, you like it. It's one of those things we do appreciate any good, any kind of comments on it. If there's anything that you reckon we could do more of, I mean, obviously, like most the podcasts out there, some do the more competitive side of stuff. Some of us just do. Some of it is more of the hobby journey, and I think that's kind of where we fit into it a bit more. We're more about, well, more often than not, me just rambling about about hobby stuff, because I like to talk hobby stuff. Like anybody that I know some of the guys that listen have known me from back in GW days or even before that. I do like to talk about stuff, especially like the old 40k books and stuff like that, and fantasy books, lore and what's cool and how you can convert something or how you can theme a list, all that good stuff. So there'll be more rambling coming up. We're going to try and get to probably hopefully more than once every 6 weeks, like this last one. Time is tricky. Time is tricky. Leave us a comment on our Instagrams. There is a Facebook for Inglorious Banters as well, so you can go on there. And I'll usually post up when I update the podcast. Give us feedback. Any feedback is good. We know there's some sound issues on this one because we're still getting used to all this wonderful recording stuff. And I can't use a mic properly. So we'll try to get Mitch's voice a bit more booming next time. Also tournament voice after a week. It's still, true. And I spend all day talking at work, so it's Well, look, any ups or downs, let us know. All feedback is good if we learn from it. Yep, exactly. But look, that's it from me. That's it from me as well. Thanks, guys. Like as usual, tell everybody about us, because more lessons is always great. So more people get exposed to our side of the hobby, and hopefully have more conversations with you guys about stuff. Especially if it's your side of the hobby too. Yeah. All right. See you next time. Thanks, guys.